All right. This is the other gambling routine that I do whenever the subject comes up, and this one I actually do a lot more than the bridge routine. And typically, the question that gets asked is something about poker, that you cheat in poker, so on and so forth. And I like in general doing routines in response to a question. And so when this comes up, what I always do is I tell them, well, poker, blah blah blah. Nowadays, a lot of people play Texas Hold'em, Hold'em No Limit. It's gotten to be the biggest game since 2002 when Chris Moneymaker won. There's other games. There's Omaha, Omaha High Low. There is Seven Card Stud used to be really big and so forth. Poker's great granddaddy was a game called Straight Poker, where everybody gets 5 cards and you bet and there's no draw, no nothing. Poker's granddaddy was a game called 5 Card Draw, where you actually get to improve your hand by you get 5 cards and you can draw cards up to 4 cards. Uh, Jack's a better, what have you. Well, Jack's a batter. It's not the game, but it's 5 card draw. Anyway, point being is they shuffle, they cut, and they deal themselves a hand. They deal you a hand. Again, this is very very simple. And you ask, "Well, do you want to play your hand? Do you want to play my hand?" And they say, "Want to play? They want to play your hand. They want to play their own hand." And I reach into my pocket and I take out some money. The more money you have on you, the better it is. And you put the money on the table. And I say, "Well, I completely trust you here. Well, whatever you give me, I'm fine with that." And you get to draw, and they look at their own hand, and well, they have a pair of 4s in this case, so they draw 1, 2. Wow, look at that, 3 cards. So they got trip 4s, which is actually not a bad hand. Would you bet on this? And well, whatever I have on there, 50 euros or whatever. I say, well, if I lose, I'll give you 50 euros. If you lose, you owe me nothing. That seems fair. And I say, well, of course it sounds fair. And then they turn over their hand, or you can let them do a double draw, a triple draw, just to get a bit of a hand for them. But trips is fine, and then you turn over your hand, and of course you have 4 aces. Technically speaking, I mean, obviously it's nothing at all. But I have to say, out of all the tricks that I've ever done, out of all the card tricks I've ever done, from as far as just simple impact goes, it's called Mr. Lucky. I think I told you about this in Halden's name at some point. All you do is you cop. I mean, this is with being in frame. This is it looks a little bad here. You cop 4 aces, whatever they give you. What you have, you own five cards. You add those. I always show my hand very clearly. Go in my pocket, take out some money, put the money on the table, and you reverse card the top 4 cards. Apparently, this is in fact a gaming technique, at least according to Ortiz, because this you do this a lot when you play cards. This is done a lot. There's a bit by what's his name, Steve Forty, of getting a card into a palm from this position, because this is just a very common sort of thing. And the one thing that I do that Ortiz does not do, because maybe a bit more casual in the way I handle cards, certainly I hope I am, is the cards I added. You do this. Now you have 4 cards. The 4 cards are copped, of course. And what he does is when it comes to the draw, he picks up the rest of the deck, adds the copped cards, and he ends clean. Which is, I think, typically speaking, a very good idea. You want to start clean, you want to end clean, of course. But in this case, I think it's more important that you don't touch the cards at all. The impression that I want to give, the impression is very, very strong, that you haven't touched the cards at all. They shuffled, they cut, they dealt, they drew, whatever. You really didn't. I mean, there's so much time misdirection before they actually turn over this hand. It's very, very good. And what I was going to tell you is I did this once in London, of all places. And I was doing magic for this dart corporation, professional dart corporation, and at the end of the whole event, I was going to have a drink. I was going to have a couple of beers at this at the bar at the Dorchester, and they charge you £7 for 0.3 liters of beer. And I said, well, I'm not going to pay for this. And so I did some more magic, and these guys, they will have a seat, please. Well, drink whatever you want. And that's all I wanted. And I was doing all this magic. It was very, very good. And when I was done, I was doing this. I did this routine, and these guys actually gambled, and they actually played poker, and they're card players, whatever. Yeah, the guy, just by coincidence, deals himself not the four aces. I mean, I got the four aces in the end. He deals himself jacks full of fives. He deals himself two pair. I had £500 lying on the table, and he goes, "Well, so I'll play that hand." But he didn't tell me that he had two pair. He draws one card. He gets a full house, jacks full of fives, which is a monster hand. And he goes, "Well, you lose." And I said, "Well, if I lose, I lose." And I'm thinking to myself, well, Darwin Ortiz lied, because the odds against getting a straight flush are not 1 in 65,000 if you get to draw. I mean, if you're drawing to an open-ended straight flush, the odds are 2 in 47, 1 in 23.5. I mean, this is just shy of 5%. It's not that unusual. 82 cards will complete a straight flush if that's what he has. And I thought to myself, well, if he wins, whatever. If he gets a straight flush, I'll give him his £100, because I said £100. But in the end, of course, I win. And he goes, this was, I think I told you that story before. He was just really, really impressed. It's really, really impressive if you get lucky and the other guy gets a strong hand, and if the other guy also plays poker. It's always nice for you to have four aces. It's always a great routine. But if the other person actually plays poker, the more they play, the more fun it is, and the better of a reaction you might get. Anyway, that's just the other gambling routine I know that.